In our last video, I presented to you how to form the -to command. When we go to the basic rule is we go to the yo form. Whatever the yo form is, it's going to end in an O most of the time. Whatever that O is, we get rid of it. Whatever verb we have has an O at the end, we're going to get rid of that O. And then we add the opposite ending plus S. The opposite ending is for AR verbs is the letter E. And again, we're going to have an S at the end. For ER and IR verbs, the letter A is the opposite vowel, and we add S to it. So when I say opposite ending, that's what I mean is the opposite vowel plus S in this case. So that's what we learned last video. Now for this video, we're going to move on. We're going to talk about the irregular yo a little bit. Now this is not a lesson in the present tense yo form. This is on the conjugations in the -to command. So if you need, to go back and revisit yo form from previous lessons, you need to make sure you understand them well because there are a lot of irregular yos in the present tense. And you have to know them in order to have success with, right now, with the -to commands, but further with other commands and when we get into the subjunctive mood as well. So it is going to be really important for you to know the yo forms that are irregular in the present tense. Right now, more short-term reason why is because these verbs that have the irregular yo, like conducir, is going to become conduzco. That it's C-O-N-D-U-Z-C-O. It's got a Z in there. That's irregular. That Z is going to keep when we make our -to command because the rule is yo form, drop the O, but we still have that Z. The Z is still there if we drop the O of conduzco. We're just left with condusk, right? With a ZC at the end instead of an O. So that Z is going to be there. When we go into conocer, the same issue. Conozco, it's got the Z in there. And that we're going to have that in the -to command. Decir becomes digo in the yo form. So digo, get rid of the O, we have D-I-G, and that is the beginning of our command. So let me go back and actually just give you the full conjugations for this. So conducir, because it's conduzco, in the -to command, it will be no conduzcas. Now in the affirmative, it's just conduce. Remember, it's very different. Conduce is the affirmative to command, but no conduzcas is the -to. Conocer would be conoce, and the affirmative to, the -to, which we're focusing on, no conozcas, because it's conozco. You drop the O, add the opposite ending S, conozcas. Decir, digo. The affirmative is one of the Vin Diesel words, right? It's one of the irregular commands. And it is D-I. That's your affirmative command. The negative command would be no digas. Digo is the yo form. Drop the O of the ending, add AS. We're adding A in this case because it's an IR verb, and that's the opposite ending. Hacer becomes hago in the yo form, so the negative command would be no hagas, H-A-G-A-S. Ofrecer, again, we got that Z in there, so it's ofrezco, the negative. No ofrezcas would be the -to command. Oír, that's oigo in the yo form, so no oigas, O-I-G-A-S. And it's an A-S ending because it's an IR verb. Poner, pongo is the yo form of the present tense. You drop the O, opposite ending S, and we end up with pongas, no pongas. The affirmative of that one is pon. It's another Vin Diesel one of the 8 irregulars in the affirmative to command. I didn't mention these two. The as is also irregular in the affirmative to. H-A-Z, as, no hagas. Ofrece, no ofrezcas. Oye, O-Y-E, that is. It's like, hey, O-Y-E, oye. And no oigas. Pon, no pongas. This one, the affirmative of salir is sal. It's another irregular one. No salgas, because it's salgo in the yo form. Ten, no tengas. That came from tengo, the yo form of tener. Drop the O, opposite ending, and you get no tengas. Traduce, the affirmative. The negative would be no traduzcas, because the yo form is traduzco. Traer is regular in the affirmative, which is just trae, T-R-A-E. And then the negative from traigo, T-R-A-I-G-O in the yo form, drop the O, add the opposite ending, which is an A plus S, no traigas. Venir is ben, and no vengas, because it's coming from vengo. And then ver is ve and no veas. Veas, because it's the yo form, is veo, drop the o, opposite ending s, veas. So it's really going to be important for you to understand your yo forms in the present tense in order to have success with this right now with the -to commands. And further down the line, you're going to need to know those really well for other conjugations.